Building a home in Nigeria is not always about the size of your savings or even the size of your income. I don't care what job you do, whether you're a cleaner, a nurse, a care worker, a security guard, or a professional. If you're determined enough, disciplined enough, and willing to push through fear, distractions, and setbacks, you can build a home in Nigeria. In today's video, I would like to give you hope. I would like to show you a pathway. More importantly, I would like to share practical strategies that will help you turn that dream of owning a home in Nigeria into a reality. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am Madam Chomzi. I relocated from the UK to Nigeria about 10 months ago, and on this channel I share my relocation journey. I talk about life in Nigeria. I give my honest opinions. But today I would like to talk about something that most Africans or Nigerians in diaspora struggle with quietly, and that's the dream of building a home in Nigeria. And most of them feel stuck because they think they've not saved enough money. The biggest mistake most people make, especially Nigerians in diaspora, is waiting for the big money. They think to themselves, if I have enough money, I'll start. But inflation and the cost of building keep rising. Sometimes you don't need money to start. All you need is a plan. Sometimes the building has to start in your notebook before it starts on land. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that building is easy. Because building in Nigeria will test your patience, it will test your finances, and sometimes it will even test your blood pressure. But it is possible. You don't need to be rich to start planning. What you need is a strategy. What you need is intentional planning, because many people are waiting for this magical moment when all of a sudden they have £50,000, £100,000 somewhere. But for many, that day would never come. So the first step would be to know what you want. You have to have clarity. You've got to know what you want. What type of house do you want? Do you want a bungalow? Do you want a duplex? Do you want a modern design? Do you want a traditional look? You've got to have a picture in your mind. What kind of layout would you want? You might not know, you might not have every detail or know every detail. Like you might not know how the facade will look or the finishing, but you've got to have a picture in your mind. Know how you want your kitchen to be, how you want your living room to feel. You've got to have a picture in your mind. Because if you do not know what you want, walking towards it becomes difficult. For me, the second step would be think about it consistently. And I think I would say it's very important, if not the most important step. Because this step, I do feel would push you into action. You need to think about the building of your home, your dream. You need to think about it consistently. Let it be your focus. Let it be what occupies your mind every time. And I'm not saying in an unhealthy way, but you need to consistently think about it. You need to sketch it, draw it, have pictures of it. Imagine yourself walking into your home, opening your gates, sitting in your living room. It's not, it's not, I don't want to make it look like, I know people laugh at things like visualization and all, but it is true. It works. Now, Bible says faith without works is dead. I'm not saying that you visualize without doing anything. But why I say you should think about it consistently is that when you think about something consistently and it occupies your mind consistently, you're pulled towards that, achieving that. You begin to notice opportunities. You begin to be more intentional about your money. Why I believe that you should think consistently about your dream or the house you want to build is that I do believe that your thoughts are prayers. And when you think about it consistently, you begin to be intentional about your decisions or about your money. You become motivated. You begin to notice opportunities that help you towards that goal of achieving your or building your home. So you start making decisions differently now because you're working towards something bigger than temporary enjoyment. And this thing, it reminds me of Habakkuk in the Bible where it says, I think it's chapter 2, verse 2, where it says you should write the vision, you should make it clear so that the one that reads it would run. So that running process is the action. So it's got to be clear. What you want, it has to be clear. You have to have clarity. You've got to know what you want. And that thinking about it, I don't just know how to explain it. It pulls energy or what now, or draws something out of you, or triggers you, because that's where your heart is. So naturally, you're going to be drawn towards that. So your actions will be shifting into achieving that. It's like being obsessed, sort of, about something. So you're pulled towards achieving that goal, if you get me. So I do think thinking about what you want consistently, it's very, very important. And again, if you're a Christian, and the Bible says if you delight yourself in the Lord, He will grant you the desires of your heart. I do believe that sincerely. And I do believe that when He says that, I know this scripture that has nothing to do with building, but I think it can be applied to what I'm trying to say. He says He will do exceedingly. I want to think about what I'm saying. Abundantly, above and beyond all that you could ever think or imagine, according to the power that works in you. So there's a power that works in you that through thinking. And I know people say the power of positive thinking, but it is real. So what you think about, what you focus on, that's what you are going to achieve. And I'm not talking about just daydreaming. I'm saying putting that, it would motivate you to work towards your goal. So you're not distracted. It is focus. That's just what I want to say. You've got to be focused. Another thing that I would like to say that thinking about what you want or the house consistently would help is in saving. Because once you start thinking about it and you begin to want it, as I said, it's not in an unhealthy way, the next step would be saving. So the first action that you'll be propelled into taking is saving. Now, if you want to build a home in Nigeria, if you're in the diaspora, the truth of the matter, let me be honest, you have to be serious about saving. You have to be disciplined, and sometimes you have to be brutal with your saving. What do I mean by being brutal? You have to cut out unnecessary spending. You have to make sacrifices. You have to understand that for this season in your life, you cannot live the same way that you used to live. So you're not like spend the same way you used to spend. So what I would suggest to you that you have a savings account. Once you get paid, the money you want to save leaves your account. Let it be automated, as in standing order. Don't wait for after you finish the month or whatever, you finish everything you want to do. Don't wait for the end of the month before you save, it's not going to work. There'll be nothing left to save. That's the truth. So check what you need to check, check your essentials, like your mortgage, your rent, gas, electricity, council tax, the essential bills. Then decide on what you can save. Cut out things like takeaways, going to restaurants, all of that you need to cut out. I'm not saying you're going to be suffering, but you need to cut out unnecessary expenses. And if you have children, you need to let them, bring them on board, let them know what's happening, so that they also adjust everybody needs to adjust their belt, and that's it. That's the truth of the matter. So what I advise, open a savings account. Don't wait till the end of the month. If you get what I mean, don't wait till everything, you finish all of your expenses. Then at the end you would save. It's not going to happen. So have a target, what you want to save. Put it on automated payment. Let it leave that day you get paid into your savings account. That's what I advise. If you leave it in your current account, trust me, you're not going to save. So that's what I mean by being brutal about it. That's it. You save that money. If it's £1,000 in a month you want to save, that's it. Put it into the savings account. Pay your bills. Whatever is left, everybody knows that's it. That's what we have for the month. Then I think if you're a couple and both of you are working, you should leverage on both incomes coming and have a good plan. And what I advise you do is save up for a year, depending on what you can save. If you can save up to £1,000, £2,000, save up to a year. If it's £500 or less, maybe 2 years. Or don't say 2 years is much. Let not discourage you. Save. For example, if you save £1,000 in a month, in a year that's £12,000. That's roughly 24 million naira. That's a lot of money. And why I'm saying you save so that you have bulk money is because when you start your building and you want to start building phase by phase, that bulk money comes in handy. So let's say now you want to start you're building you want to start building. I'm assuming you've bought the land. And even if you've not bought the land, the method of saving in a year is not long. That's the truth of the matter. A year is not long. So don't say, oh, it's too long. A year is not long. If you save for a year, that would help towards buying a land. So let's assume you've bought your land and you've already fenced it. And if you've bought your land and you want to fence, what I would advise you is do the fencing the way you would like it at the end, so that you don't have to, after building a house, you're breaking the fence. That's also waste of resources. So do it at that time, the way you want it. Then maybe at the end you do all the finishings. Then another advice I would add, okay, let me finish with the money. You get the savings account, you save your money. Then one other thing I would advise that you have, if you're Nigerian, now have a mutual, an investment account or like mutual funds here in Nigeria. Have that money be moving the money from that your savings account to your mutual funds. Why I said don't, some of you might be wondering, why not just move it straight to mutual funds? You can do that if you're disciplined enough. Why I said do it that way is just put it straight in your savings, so that you know whatever is your savings is in your savings. And anyhow, I don't know how you might want to do. You might want to maybe keep some in pounds and keep some in naira. So, but I advise you to have a mutual funds account, just so that the money yields something for you. The savings account and the the mutual funds account, I would think that you get one that you can easily access your money, not the one that you has to be for months. But it depends. If you want to leave it in the savings for months, since you're not planning to build, then as in immediately, that would also be good. So that's what I would do. Then if you want to buy a land, if you've not bought your land, I want to give you an advice. Avoid anything water. Avoid swampy land. Avoid anything close to water, because you're going to pay. It's more expensive to build on a swampy land. And if your land is close to water, even if the land is not necessarily swampy, just know that your fence on the side that is close to the water, it cannot be an ordinary fence. Like us, we have water just beside one of our side fence. We like it. That's part of what we like about the land. But obviously, when it was time to build, that side of the fence cost us more, because we had to. You don't just do an ordinary fence. If you do an ordinary fence, it's going to fall. And we had people that their fence did fall. So just know that you're going to spend more money in buying iron rods, because they're going to change, whether it's retaining wall. I'm not an engineer, and neither am I a financial advisor. I'm just giving you telling you how an ordinary person like me, what I would do, and we did. This is also part of what we did. So I'm just here to encourage someone that is struggling or don't even know where they'll start. And if you don't earn much, you can pick up over time, even if it's twice in a week. One thing I want to say to people: don't despise your money. Don't say this money is little. Don't do it, because when it accumulates, it becomes something that you can use to achieve something that is big. So as I said, avoid water. Then another thing that I would say is, before you start building, I've left savings now. I've come now to the building. Before you start building, I would advise you to. Okay, let me finish the one of the land, since I've already started. Let me go back, sorry. Before you start building, I advise you to have no dimensions. You understand what I mean by no dimensions? What I mean by no dimensions is that if they tell you a room is 12 foot by 12 foot, know exactly what 12 foot by 12 foot will look like, or 14 foot will look like. Or they tell you it's in cm or in meters, know how to convert meters to foot or feet, inches. You need to know all of that. Why I'm saying this is because of the architects. They might give you a plan, and if you don't know dimensions, when I mean you know dimensions, this is also why it's important that you should know know what you want. For us, we knew exactly the sizes of what we wanted for the living room. The truth of the matter, we did the sketch. We did the sketch of the layout. You don't need to be an architect to do a sketch of how you want the layout of your home to be. And that brings me to another point. The architect is there to manifest your dream, not their dream. So if you leave it to just the architect, they will manifest their dream. And trust me, when I say that most architects in Nigeria do copy and paste. So I do believe that, because when you come to Nigeria, you find that a house will look very gigantic outside, look very, very elegant, and so extra. Then when you come in, it's all cramped and claustrophobic. That you understand. You're wondering now, where's the space? And I think part of the problem is people not knowing dimensions. You've got to know dimensions so that nobody plays. So if they give you a plan That's if you don't know if you don't know the size now, you don't want to draw. But I advise you to draw or have a clear picture. Physically go, take a tape, measure what 12 feet is. You understand? 1 foot is about 30 cm. So like a foot is 30 cm. So someone tells you now 12 feet, you just multiply it by 30 to get what it is in cm or in meters. You understand? You've got to know all of that. You have to know dimensions of blocks. So because you hear some people tell you, oh, it's how many coach. So you have an idea of, okay, they're telling you how many coach. We had experience where they tell you how many coach. They're telling you how many coach. You can convert and have an idea of, okay, what are they saying as in, what's the height and what's this. So you've got to have an idea. I also advise you to watch videos of people that are building. Even people that are building, it would help you. It would really, really help you to, especially if you're not experienced if you're not an engineer, a civil engineer, or you're not experienced in anything about building a house. It would help you so that you can, even when they're building, you can ask questions when you are anticipating that you're thinking, oh, I saw this somewhere. Why is it? You can ask questions so that you don't get deceived. So another thing I would like to say, keep it simple. Keep it simple and don't try to. Your house mustn't be. How will I put it? People like inside. For me, I'm more particular about inside the house. I'm not saying I don't care about outside. I'm more particular about inside, how a house looks inside. I feel this is my advice. You mustn't take it. Just keep it simple. Keep the layout simple inside. Avoid all this burning corner. Nigerian people like corner. They cost you more and they take up space. I had the plan. The layout of a house is very simple. It's just a hallway and the rooms or whatever are just to the side. And what we did was that we tried to keep the living spaces open. We have an open plan here, where I'm doing the video, where you have the kitchen and the sitting area. It has doors, and that door is for privacy, and also if we're cooking, so the smell don't go out to the rest part of the house. And if we have former visitors or people that are not really close, they stay in the other living room. And friends and family members, obviously, they can stay here. We just relax. Keep it simple. That would be my advice. Don't go and start building. If you're struggling financially, just build what you can. There's nothing wrong in building a 3-bedroom. I'd rather you build a 3-bedroom that you planned it well, it's open and it's really nice, than you trying to build this mansion and you're struggling and so much under so much pressure, or you're struggling to finish it. Because building it's expensive, and you have things that can just come up. So you have to bear that in mind. It's not trying to scare you, but just to bear that in mind, that just try and keep it as simple as you can within your what you're capable of doing. So I'll go back to the reason why I said you should save and have that bulk money. Why I said you should save and have that bulk money is this. If you have your bulk money, let's say now someone that saved that £1,000 in a month for a year, you have that £12,000, 24 million naira, you can start. That's if you're not building a church cathedral. You're building a modest house. You can start. Now, this is what we did, and we were lucky in this sense. The two things that would take so much money in your building is cement and road. I know granite does take, but cement and road. So I advise you, and this advice is, if you are sure, don't just go and do it. We had a relative, my husband's relative, that was into cement and building materials. He sells rods too. So what we did was, we did deposit. I think at first we deposited 2 trailers of cement, and we deposited money for tons of 16 mm, 14 mm, all the mm that you need. So we had like 3 tons for some, depending, 4 tons. So because of the power of the bulk money, we did that. Why? Because we know that no matter what, as long as we have cement and rod, we'll keep going. You understand me? So as long as, because we know that's where the bulk money, so things like sand, bearing in mind you're still going to be earning, money is still coming. So it's just to be topping up your bulk or making another bulk for the next stage. So that's where, that's why I said get the bulk. You cannot afford to be building when you just have, I have just 2 million or I have just 4 million. No, it's not going to work. So that's why I said save that money for that 1 year. Save it for, depending on what you're earning. If you you earn, the more you earn, or the more how financially buoyant you or what you can afford. That's what I'm trying to say. But I'm just standing like 1,000. That's what I'm just saying. But it mustn't be 1,000. 2,000, yes. If you can, very good. 2,000 is 48 million. You're good to go. But what I want to say, be brutal. Don't make allowances for any. Just be focused. Just focus on it. When you go to eat and you want to go and buy coffee, think that maybe that your coffee can buy 1 bag of cement. So that's the part of thinking about your building consistently. It begins to drive your mind to achieving it. It directs you. It cuts out distractions. You understand? So that's the reason why you should always think about it. So another advice that I would give, that before you start building, if you've already bought your land, it's make sure you have water. Water is something that you can underestimate, but it also costs. If you cannot afford to get your borehole, then you can dig a well. Then if you can build them a store. Build a store in your land, and get someone a security person to guard that site, because people will still come and steal. So that's what I would advise you. So as I said, if you can go ahead and get some deposit for all of these things, that's, as I said, someone that you can really trust. Or if you feel that your site can be secure, you can stop. But I don't know, I wouldn't stop cement for that long. It's too much. I wouldn't stop. No, don't do that, please. Cement can kick. We paid for that, we deposited, so we were going to collect. When we need, we just go collect. We just go collect. We were lucky in that sense. But please, if there's not one you can trust, don't do it. Just buy as much as you can at a time and store. You already have the bulk money. Buy at a time and store. But the only thing in Nigeria, because of inflation, the price of things keep going up and up. But things like rod, people steal them, like stealing them. So you can put those ones in your building. Nothing will happen to them in your site, as long as you're sure your security man is someone that wouldn't do something stupid. So anyway, all of that aspect, you have to find a way to sort them. But the purpose of, as I said, the purpose of saving for that long is to get the bulk money to start. So when you have the bulk money to start, you can start. So you start your first phase, the first phase foundation. You have the money, and we are lucky in Nigeria is that we don't have you can build your house for how as long as you want to. Don't fall into the trap of trying to compete. I'm going to build my own in 6 months because my friend built in 6 months. If you don't have money, respect yourself. Don't try to do comparison. So just take it as easy as you can and as focused as you can. So you do your foundation, raising building the walls. That's not an expensive stage. Another thing I would advise you to do is mold your own blocks. It's cheaper, and you can also choose the quality of what you want, the blocks you want. And because of the price of cement is high and it's increasing, the blocks that they sell might not really be quality. So mold your own blocks. It'll be cheaper for you and it'll save you a lot of money. So the point you've seen the point where I'm saying that you should save and get the bulk money. Then money is also coming in, and also you're preparing for the next stage, which will be the decking. Like that. Also, you continue that way till you roof the building. The another thing I want to point out is that please get someone that you can trust to also be visiting your site, even if you're using the builder or whatever, the engineer or the person that has the contract, or get someone that independent, that is you're not paying, if it's a family member you can trust, to be coming to check what they're doing regularly and sending you videos too. While they're also sending, that person should be sending. If you cannot be here physically, obviously most people cannot be here physically, but also be good to once in a while you come and see what they're doing for you and what they're building for you. And another thing that I would say is that if you are getting someone to be checking for you, if you can get a relative that has an eye for building or has a bit of knowledge, that would be good. So that if they see something, they can see something physically is different from what the picture can pick, and you're not be able to pick up some things from picture or video. That would help, because for us, we had my brother-in-law. He was good at the side of money. My brother-in-law was very, very good at that aspect and checking the building, but he doesn't have any engineering experience in engineering or what now. I don't know. What I'm trying to say is that it's not just about you avoiding them stealing from you. You also need someone to be checking physically, if you can, to do an inspection for you and see, okay, this wall is straight, this wall is, that's what I'm trying to say. Another thing that I just remembered to talk about is, someone might ask, how would I know, like, roughly what amount of cement or rods that I need to deposit for or look at? That would bring in the question of a quantities survey. Would I advise you to do a quantity survey? Yes and no. We did a quantity survey. What I would say, and to be honest, I didn't really see what it did for us. That's the truth of the matter. I don't even see. We just wasted our money doing quantity survey. But if you want to know, or you feel that's what you want to do, then go ahead. But at the same time, you can ask the builder to give you an estimate, but just know that the estimate is never correct. So that's in Nigeria, that's why I say you've got to have contingencies. Just know, with building is generally it's like that. Even abroad, you've got to have that. The reason why I said I wouldn't do that if you're not financially buoyant like that is that when you do a quantity survey, the amount they'll give you, the total figure of what your house is going to cost, might scare you. That's just why I would say no. I'm not saying that you should go and start building blindly. That's not what I'm saying, but I wouldn't want to scare you. I wouldn't want you to be scared at that initial stage when you've not even started and you're seeing this big amount. They're telling you how many millions, and you're looking at, you don't even have you don't even have 5 million. It might start to make some people scared. But at the same time, I'm not saying going blindly. But as I said, be realistic. Don't try to go into competition with your house. Just try and keep it. Be realistic. Know what you are capable of doing. Know what comes into your bank account every month. So don't go and do because someone is building this big mansion and they have how many this and they have how many whatever. This is this you want to go and do. So the matter, I don't need 5 bedrooms. Because yes, Nigeria, you have family members and all those things, and but when people come to visit, they don't come and live in your home. They come and they go. So if you have a 3-bedroom, family members come, friends come. If there are many, yes, you can throw mattresses on the floor. People can share beds, so it's not a big deal. So don't go and put yourself into all of this financial trouble or drown yourself in anxiety because of building. Because building itself is very, very tedious mentally and emotionally. It would really, really stress you. So now when you're not adding all of the stress, financial stress, and just because you want to go compete with someone, it's not necessary. As I said, I'd rather that you do a simple plan. For me, beauty is simple. It doesn't need to be complicated. 3-bedroom, open plan, beautiful. The living area open. You can, your kitchen area, I would put doors, because our food, let's just say the truth, our food, they smell. If you, most times I'll eat something then, but if I now give someone and they're eating when I'm not eating, the smell just is annoying. So let's accept that one. I would have doors. Any place I'm cooking, I would have doors so I can shut it. But you can, what I'm trying to say, you can make your living areas open as much as you can, and it saves you money. You're not putting blocks there. There are no fences or walls. So there are no walls. It will save you money. Then where you have the bedrooms, obviously they have to have the privacy, so they're enclosed. So, and that open plan also gives you creates easy flow of air, or airflow, ventilation. Nigeria is very hot. So these are the things. Don't just go and copy someone's design, or that's what they say is raining. Nigeria, they like to do that's what's trending and what is raining. Don't go and be doing copy. Just think about what you're doing. Watch videos. You're not going to go and build grand design. You know, there's a program they do in the UK called Grand Design. It's lovely to watch, but it's not grand design. If you don't have money like that, just do it simple and you'll be fine. And you can build even to a certain extent, do up one part of it and be staying there, whether it's 1 room or 2 rooms. When you come to visit, you can do it up and you stay. As long as you can cook and you can have your shower somewhere, that's fine. Why I'm saying this is, there's some things that you hear, just be like, people really bother themselves. I remember one time we came home, the house was like this. When I mean like this, I'm not joking. Everything was already the way this living room, apart from, let's say, the flower vase. That's the only thing that wasn't here, you know. And the friend of my husband came to visit. But then we had not painted the outside. But the house was, I would say, complete. And he was saying to my husband that your wife is really a good woman and blah, blah, blah. That if some women, they'll tell you the house is not complete. they need to complete the house. Let's go stay in the hotel. And I'm like, what? I'll go stay in the hotel when I can stay in my house. And when I'm in the house, we had beds, it was just, so it didn't make any sense to me. So that's to tell you the extent people reason and the kind of reasoning you get here. Or which I wouldn't say here. It's just, I wouldn't say here because people in Nigeria, it's a common thing. People live in their house even when it's not completed, they'll live. So follow that people and do it that way. Don't go and follow people that want to do competition. And if you feel that you're within a group of your friends or group of whatever, and you feel pressure to want to start competing and comparing, I would advise you to withdraw and just shut your mouth and quietly do your thing. It will save a lot of pressure. So if you know that if you bring up a conversation with this person or people, it ends up turning to scoring point or comparison and making you feel inadequate, just shut your mouth, face your lane, do your thing quietly and build your home. At the end of the day, you're on your own, and that's the truth. That's the truth. Try as much as you can to not really bother yourself with what people think about you. So I did ask my husband to ask a relative of his the prices of some things, of rods. So I'm just going to look at it. I'm looking at my phone to see it. A ton of 16 mm. He wrote 837,400. I think they have different types. I don't know because there are different prices here. There's another one, 779,000. That's for the 16 mm. 12 mm, 893,000. That's for a ton. 10 mm, it says 1,012,500. 8 mm, 735,000. I'm just reading this. I wanted to get the price of a trailer of cement. Now, current price, I couldn't. A trailer has 900 bags of cement. I think, I'm not so sure, please don't quote me. I think a bag of cement should be about 12,000 now. 12,000. So a trailer, I don't know, maybe roughly around 10 million, I would think. Which is, bear in mind, is 900 bags of cement, which will go a long way. So, as I said, the key is try and save as much as you can. You see all your relatives, that the ones that you always send money to, you have to cut off. I'm not saying don't send money to relatives if that's what the ones that depend on your parents, and that's not what I'm saying. If it's not necessary, let people know that you have to focus on your future. And the earlier you can start building, start, because the way prices increase in Nigeria, the rate of inflation in Nigeria is, I don't just know, it's something else. So the more you wait, the more expensive it is becoming. So it doesn't pay you to wait. Try as much as you can to start thinking about it and start saving towards it, and start what you can. As I said, be brutal with your savings. Be brutal with your savings. Have that figure. Don't change it. Just be brutal unless there's an emergency, that you get me. But most times the good thing about the West is that you can plan your finances. It's easier. Unlike Nigeria, things are just up, down, up, down. It's not predictable here, but things are predictable. So somehow you know in a month what you are going to what you expect, what your bills will look like. If there's a change, it's going to be a slight change, not like a huge increments, or change. So we see that it's important to save so that you have that initial bulk money, which would take care of your biggest or most costly items like the cements, the rods. So now that you have your cements, you have your rods, you have your water, you have blocks being molded at your site, the pressure becomes less intense. You're not scrambling every week for looking for money for every single thing. Your bulk savings has taken care of the biggest cost. So what's left is just your monthly income would now gradually push the project through the different stages. Even that your monthly income obviously is you're adding it to also create bulk more, to also have bulk money, if you get me, for other major stages like the decking, the roofing. If you take one thing from this video, let it be stop waiting for perfect conditions. You may not have money, that's okay. You start with a plan, you start with clarity, you start with discipline. Many of the houses that you admire today did not appear overnight. For many Nigerians, it was built block by block, year by year. Building your dream home in Nigeria is not impossible. It just requires patience, it requires clarity, and requires discipline and wisdom. If you've watched this point, thank you so much for your patience. This video is a bit long. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. If you've subscribed to my channel, if you've not subscribed to my channel, please do consider doing so. Like, share my videos, and also click on the notification bell so you get notified anytime I upload a new video. Thank you guys so much. See you in the next video. Bye.